Thank you all of you, really, for joining us today. It's so meaningful to have a full room of people who genuinely care about this subject and about lifting up people who are formerly incarcerated. I'm very proud to be here at the Women's Justice Institute, advancing yet another measure for fairness and sensible public policy in our criminal justice system. Getting introduced by the First Lady today feels a lot like, well, we got the program reversed. I should be introducing her. The bill I'm signing today has been a project that she has been fighting for since long ago, and she is the one who first made me aware of the need for state IDs for returning citizens. MK has consistently stood up for, well, compassion and reason in the making of public policy, especially around those who are formerly incarcerated. And I'm very proud to be standing with her to deliver on that work. She has a heart of gold and is a powerhouse who quietly does what's right in every situation. So many others have served as partners in getting to today. Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias and his staff, I want to thank you for all of your hard work in helping to ask the General Assembly to carry this bill forward. I also want to especially mention, as MK did, our former Secretary of State, Jesse White. He's a hero to many of us. He's a true statesman and, of course, so much involved in the beginnings of this program. Of course, our leaders at the Department of Corrections and the criminal justice reform champions in the General Assembly, some of whom are behind me here today, who led this effort, especially our bill sponsors, Senator Chris Belt and Representative Justin Slaughter. I also want to recognize the anti-violence leaders who are with us today, especially our friend Arnie Duncan and all of those who every day do their best to try to reduce violence on our streets and make sure that we're doing everything we can to engage returning citizens in that endeavor of reducing crime, reducing violence, and making our state and our city a better place. With my signature today, we are amending the Illinois Identification Card Act to simplify the process for those leaving the Department of Corrections custody to receive an identification card. Lack of identification is an all too common barrier for returning citizens. At a time when they need the most support to get reestablished in society, the lack of identification often shuts them out. They can't pursue employment opportunities. They can't pursue housing, social services, healthcare. Can't simply open a bank account without ID. These are individuals who have served their time and paid their debt to society. Rather than closing them off to the rest of the world, this legislation is about empowering them to make their own choices about their future, giving them the opportunity and the resources necessary to come back as full, upstanding members of our communities and get themselves on the right path and carry forward with their families. This isn't just about fairness and justice. Study after study also tells us that when formerly incarcerated individuals have access to these resources, jobs, housing, healthcare, recidivism rates go down significantly, and our communities are safer for it. Throughout my time as governor, the General Assembly and I have vigorously pursued common sense, humane criminal justice policies that advance our mission to rehabilitate and assist in the reentry of the formerly incarcerated. It's the right thing to do for justice and for public safety. I'm proud to be taking another step forward in that pursuit, and I look forward to continuing our work to build stronger, safer communities. And with that, it is my pleasure, my honor, to pass it over to our injured but always resilient Secretary of State, Alexi Giannoulias.
Sorry, I'm going a little slow. Thank you, Governor. Thank you all for being here. It's great to see members of the media that are very excited about reducing recidivism. Thank you for making time to be here. I mean that. And before I thank the elected officials, I do want to take a second, as the governor mentioned, to thank the leaders in the community who do real work every single day. We see it. You help the people who are trying to re-enter society. Give them a shot. You give them hope. You give them a hug. The governor mentioned Arnie Duncan, who's like a mentor to me, the work that he does with Chicago Cred every single day with some of our most volatile and in-need people, young men and women. So thank you to everyone here. I want to thank the elected officials, obviously. You know, we get all the glory and get the fancy pens, but all of you do the real work, and I'm grateful from the bottom of my heart for all you do for the state of Illinois. Thank you. I also want to thank my good friend, Juliana Stratton, who's a terrific lieutenant governor, who's a great personal friend of mine. Thank you for your work on this issue and so much else. Thank you for being here today. I want to thank Senator Belt and Representative Slaughter, our two sponsors, as well as my good friend Senator Peters, for working with our office and for being champions on this significant piece of legislation. I also want to thank the other co-sponsors, Senator Mary Edley Allen, Maddie Hunter, Julie Morrison, Willie Preston, Doris Turner, and Rachel Ventura. We would not be here today if not for their passion and concerted efforts to get this bill passed in Springfield. And a special thank you to my friend Governor Pritzker for taking this action to help reduce recidivism in Illinois and facilitate reentry by expanding our groundbreaking initiative to provide state ID cards to individuals leaving incarceration in prison or jail. I also want to give a special shout out to First Lady M.K. Pritzker, who has been tireless in her efforts, as was mentioned earlier, to assist previously incarcerated individuals. Early on in my administration, she expressed to our office how near and dear to her heart this issue was to her and has continued to be. She's always been a strong champion for those who are trying to get their lives back on track. She has been a staunch advocate for individuals, especially women, impacted by the justice system, and understands the importance and benefits of providing state IDs to help these individuals. So thank you, Madam First Lady. Thank you, Governor. Today's bill signing marks a huge step forward for Illinois in eliminating barriers for individuals seeking to successfully return to their communities. Most of us don't think twice when we're asked to present an ID while we're at a store, bank, or a doctor's office. In a moment's notice, that small plastic card that we pull from our pocket, wallet, or bag gives us immediate access to whatever we need. We use it so often and rely on it so much that we tend to take this privilege for granted. But for those who are leaving jail or prison after serving a period of incarceration, a state ID is absolutely essential to performing the everyday tasks that increase the likelihood of successful reentry back into society. That's because access to everything from a home to a job to a doctor becomes almost impossible without one. When I ran for this office, I heard firsthand countless stories of people who had been counting down the days to their second chance at providing the best possible life for themselves and their families after serving their time. But they struggled to find employment, housing, treatment for addiction, or mental and physical health care solely because they didn't have a valid ID. The crux of the issue was locating the documents they needed, like their birth certificate or physical Social Security card, which are required to prove your identity when applying for a state ID. They expressed frustration with the difficulties they encountered while trying to navigate the system. Many didn't even know where to begin. Many others lacked basic internet access, which prevented them from finding the answers. As one ex-offender told me after he was released, he so badly wanted to do the right thing. He wanted to start a new life. But after leaving one system, he felt stuck in another system that was difficult to understand, halting his progress. Without the support in place to assist him in the process of navigating the bureaucratic red tape, he struggled, and he just gave up. All because he didn't have a small piece of plastic that gave him the opportunity to get a job. Almost 2 years ago, the Secretary of State's office launched a partnership with the Illinois Department of Corrections to issue valid state IDs free of charge to individuals upon the release from the 26 state prisons. The program has been a resounding success. Since the inception of the program, the Secretary of State's office has issued nearly 3,000 free IDs to individuals re-entering society. Earlier this year, we worked with Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart to expand the program, providing the same service to individuals released from the Cook County jail system. We're extremely excited about the strides we've been able to make through these partnerships, but the governor's action today will further expand and bolster the program by making it even easier and even faster for individuals to obtain a state ID upon release. The new law enables individuals to bypass the long wait times and red tape associated with obtaining the identification requirements required to obtain a state ID, which frequently acts as a major obstacle in the process. The Secretary of State's office will now have the authority to waive the requirement for a certified birth certificate as proof of identification and confirmation of date of birth if the person has previously held an Illinois driver's license or ID card. In addition, our office can now waive the requirement for a Social Security card, assuming we can verify a person's Social Security card number directly through the Social Security Administration. This eliminates the need for the physical card, which many incarcerated individuals cannot readily access. Perhaps most importantly, this new law allows for federal correctional facilities based in Illinois and every county in the entire state to participate in the program. I strongly encourage each and every county to participate because fulfilling the small but basic need reduces recidivism, saves taxpayer money, makes our community stronger by disrupting cycles of economic hardship, and shows that we care and are willing to support those that are willing to do the grueling work of turning their lives around. This important legislation builds on our restorative justice initiative, which we've been working hard to implement since day one, and includes funding for Illinois Department of Corrections libraries and helping newly released individuals obtain their driver's license and secure employment. As part of this new initiative, we will begin hosting a series of educational seminars with correctional facilities to help increase awareness and participation in the program. The importance of providing opportunities and lowering barriers for residents to re-entering society cannot be overstated. The passing of the bill today is a profound step in eliminating barriers to re-entry while helping individuals leaving incarceration return to a sense of normalcy. I am extremely proud of this bill, and I'm extremely proud to live in a state like Illinois where we have a governor that truly cares about those that so many in our society have given up on. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to the leaders, and thank you to the governor for signing this bill today.
Good picture of the Secretary of State.